For Rangers to, for anybody still speaking about a title challenge in Scotland, there's absolutely no chance.
Some would argue there never was, but here on Fog Football, let's jump in to devil's advocate mode and say, well, is there a title fight, Kris Boyd? He claims there's not, alright, but let's look at the league table and give people false hope. I'd love to sit here and big up a challenge, but let's go through it, right? Let's go through that mighty league table. So, let's talk about the top three, right? Rangers sit on 12th played, 23 points, 11 behind Celtic, 9 behind Aberdeen. When I made my video earlier talking about Aberdeen dropping points and how it's pathetic how much narrative has been spun on it from a Rangers perspective on my own channel, I think I said Rangers could close it from 8 to 5, but the reality is Aberdeen didn't get beat by Hibs, they drew, so they can close it from 9 to 6 if they win the game in hand. But yeah, that's the battle for second. Last night we did make a video about Kris Boyd talking about Rangers are battling for second, and to be honest, you can't really disagree with that. So for Rangers, there is no title challenge. It's all over. It's out of Rangers' hands even. I mean, I know, before you die of a laughing fit, if Rangers even won the other 3 Old Firm games this season in the league, it's still at their hands. It'd be 2 points behind Celtic. You'd be relying on other teams to drop points. I mean, you look at the first 12 games here, Celtic are a quarter of the way through this season and they have dropped 2 points in 12 games. You continue that form up, Celtic will win 34 games and draw 4. So when you look at it, here, they've done that before. Rangers did that during Title 55, 34 wins and 4 draws, wasn't it? Was it 34 wins and 4 draws for Rangers? Was it? I mean, I can't really remember. I know Rangers went undefeated. Was it 33 wins and 5 draws? It doesn't really matter. Better times, folks. As I say, Tony Soprano, remember when, lose form of conversation, yada, yada, yada. Let's move on to Aberdeen, because Rangers are not winning this league. Aberdeen played a game extra in the Celtic Football Club, and they sit 2 points behind. So if you can do the math, if Celtic win, that gap goes from 2 to 5. And I have no idea who Celtic and Rangers game in hand is actually against. Obviously, it will be the match day they were supposed to play during one of the cup weekends. I believe Rangers were supposed to play Aberdeen during one of those cup weekends. The cup final, that is the case. But here, let's just say worst case scenario for Aberdeen right now. They are, 5 points behind Celtic if Celtic win the game in hand. You need Aberdeen to have that advantage over Celtic to talk about a title fight. When it's flipped, it's no on. Now here, devil's advocate, I said we'd play that. When Celtic have to rock up the Pittodrie in a few short weeks, say Aberdeen win that and they can close it back to 2, or if the game in hand hasn't been played by then and they go ahead, then you just never know. But the reality is that's not going to happen. Into Sunday and then into Wednesday where a lot of game in hands are played. So let's just quickly go through these games. I mean, on Sunday, of course, Rangers are away to St Johnstone. I'll just be brutally honest, man. It could end up 2-1 St Johnstone. It could be a 1-1 draw, or Rangers could win 1-0. It is just 2 away goals in 5 games. It's just embarrassing, man. I've ran out of superlatives to actually describe how bad that is. As for, it could be anything. As for Hearts at home to Aberdeen, I tell you what, if you want the bubble completely bursting, if Aberdeen walk away with 1 point in 9, that would be a mess. And I tell you what, Aberdeen, they play Celtic on the Wednesday, right? Obviously, Celtic have got Ross County at home on the 30th. That is a win, alright? Aberdeen, realistically, need to beat Hearts. And then that sets up the game at Pittodrie quite nice. And and what you've got to bear in mind is, right, even forget about a title fight for Aberdeen, okay? Because we all have, really. That game against Celtic at Pittodrie is not about a title fight, right? It's also about getting second, because you still need to gain 3 points on Rangers. Saying that though, on the same day, Rangers are playing Killie at Ibrox, 7:45 kickoff. Honestly, that is another worry for me. And then we move on to Saturday, the 7th of December. Aberdeen are at home against St Johnstone. You're expecting to win. Celtic at home against Hibs, you'd expect them to win. And Rangers on the 8th are away to Ross County. Ross County, who are fantastic at home, and Rangers, who've had pretty poor results in Dingwall over the last couple of years. So you never really know how it's going to go down. But, we've looked ahead in a few short weeks there, and we still came to the conclusion that Celtic are going to win this league title. Celtic look better than last season, there's no doubt about it. They are. Obviously, Celtic from about March to the end of the season last year looked as good as they are now for me. But the reality is, if you're averaging 11 wins and a draw in your first 12 games, you're going to beat most teams, like most best teams in Scotland's like first 12 games, let alone an Aberdeen team that's punching well above their weight. Aberdeen have done well to get to November with talking a title fight. This was unexpected, completely unexpected. So, you know what? If you're an Aberdeen fan, I think you've just got to be proud of your players. But to answer, we've broke it down there a bit. To answer Kris Boyd's statement that there is no title fight in Scotland, what's my response? Of course there ain't. It's non-existent. It's dead.